They call it the GSL Codex. That's what they call it. That's what they call it.
Welcome to GSL Whirlwind.
And on to our players and their introductions in the upper left. This seems to be his best map against MVP. Can he win on it, or did his opponent learn? He is...
Flares MMA.
And in the opposite starting location, we have our player who's not quite good on this map. Can he come up with some different play style, or is MMA's fanatic all over the map, aggressive, kind of like Gumiho style, going to just be too much? He is...
AGIM MVP.
Tasteless.
Artosis.
Gas first for MVP. Your
What?
thoughts? Gas first.
I'm sorry, you want me to predict, you mean?
Yes.
Oh. Well,
Same old, or?
I think MVP's going to do something very weird on this map if he wants to win.
Yeah. Really like this map for MMA.
I really am.
It really does play to his strengths.
I think
There's no
MMA and
question.
Liang are just like the two scariest on this map.
Yeah, albeit for, in my opinion, different reasons. Ryung is like godly defensive positioning, MMA godly positional attacking.
Yeah.
They're both Slayers Terrans. They're like yin and yang. They're like Tasis and Artosis.
No, they're not.
No, they are
Nobody's not like Tasis and Artosis, man. Except for
Batman's
Tasis and
like us.
Artosis. Yeah, Batman and the other Batman are like us.
That's right.
That's about it.
That's right.
The people of Gotham do not need to fear you, Joker.
All right, so as far as MMA goes, really quick command center here. Kind of the opposite of what we saw last game from these guys.
Yeah.
And, a quick tech lab by MVP. Looks like he's going to go into Banshee most likely. And could be some Banshee Marine Alien. We've been seeing that a lot today.
Yep.
It's cool to continue to see the meta. Yeah, exactly. The meta game just kind of shift around a little bit here and there. It's really cool to watch.
Do you know how many pro gamers that are in GSL Codes are just grinding out a Hunter of the Swarm?
I would think that in Codes, none. I would say nobody is playing it at all.
Think so?
Maybe just a little bit just to try it for some fun.
Like, oh, neat.
Yeah, but
Vipers,
I think that's, I mean, if you're preparing for a tournament, that's like a scary thing to do because you're getting used to like a different game. It's but the thing is, it feels so the same because it's still StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
But like there's other units and your mind goes to different places, and I feel like that is something that if you're a Codes player, why would you do that? You need to stay on Wings of Liberty and continue to play that until it's time for you. You know, maybe you drop out and you're like, oh, you know what? I have a week till Code. I'm going to go ahead and play some
toy around
Swarm
with this
and
get the ideas fresh in my mind
exactly.
about the way units feel.
But Codes, man, it's too big an opportunity. I don't feel that.
Did you beat? You mentioned Batman earlier, and well, hold on, I'll talk about it after this Hellion comes in here. Oh, he could have lifted there.
Oh, pretty good Hellion so far, to be honest. 2 kills.
Yeah.
That's
be
pretty
3
worth it for an early Hellion, yeah. Hellion way more than paying for itself so far in many ways. Lost mining time, scouting, things it's killed. Really greatly done. And we even have another Hellion coming in, so
yeah.
This is doing great.
Well, this is like, it's funny because he's supposed to come in there and just do some scouting, maybe kill an SCV instead. He gets in there and actually does a substantial amount of damage.
Absolutely, he does, yeah. Viking on the way for MMA. MVP right now does have that very important Banshee, but that Viking's going to be out in time, so makes me a little bit nervous for him. We'll see if he can get any damage actually done here, but I feel like unless he keeps his Marines alive, that Banshee's going down.
Yeah.
And this is, it looks like MMA actually should have enough. And in fact,
All right, the
MVP might
Vikings
run
out.
Yeah.
He's just going to leave. We've seen a few players overextend with that today.
Yeah.
These guys not going to be some of them.
No, they are not. They're not falling in that trap.
So,
and his Hellions actually saw the direction the Banshee was going in just barely, and he turned him around. So his Vikings going over to catch him.
and yeah, I guess he is actually going to try to loop that around, isn't he?
Yeah. Now we do have a double command center follow-up by MVP, whereas MMA throwing up another command center now.
He's this.
Safe.
He loves this build.
Yeah, he's into it.
It doesn't feel safe, but I guess it actually is safe on this map for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's so long. You know, you kind of have all the tech trees, so your opponent can't walk across the map and get you so easily. You know, he's getting... This is actually somewhat similar to what we saw him do on this map before, where he's going right into Siege Tank Marine Viking, which is going to keep him safe. You know, that's like the ultimate safety composition for the early game.
Did you ever beat the Batman game, Arkham City?
No.
How far did you get?
Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze. So that's it's one of the tougher battles, I think.
I found it actually be annoying. I don't think it's going to be all that tough, but like, I want to fight how I want to fight. Don't
I'm just trying to say the supportive things of Tosis.
No, Tosis. Well, the thing is, I'm too busy with Heart of the Swarm right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
I want to go back and unlock everything, but I don't think it's going to happen for months now.
Yeah, probably. That's what happens. Don't worry, there'll be like a week downtime from beta to release or something like that. Maybe even more, so my life will come back at that point. All right, so MMA right now, he is getting ready for his bio units, getting his medevacs out, getting his marine production going. As far as MVP goes, he's going for basically the same. Still staying a little bit more heavily on Vikings and Siege Tanks at the moment. And getting that third base up, same time as MMA, really.
Note MVP, very calculated about when he's out on the map and when he just goes back home. It's almost like he's trying to seek out certain engagements, and he's like, oh, not going to do it? All right, I'm out.
And that's actually exactly what he's doing, I think, Tasteless. Yeah. Very good call there. He's like, all right, at this time, you know, I should have the better army. Let's see if he wants to fight.
If not, he's like, I'm out. He's like, you know what? I'm Outback Steakhouse. That's how out he is.
That's exactly it. But hold on, this is a very powerful attack here. The Siege Tank's coming out, and now he's going to be able to kill off a ridiculous amount of SCVs. MVP taking a nice, strong...
And landing the Vikings.
Oh, God, so well done. So well done.
And then putting the team Vikings run away.
Well, there's a Marauder, Tasteless.
Yeah. With their little... They look like sheep standing upright, just like running.
Yes, they do.
They're little sheepies.
Oh, wow. If a sheep dressed up like a robot, he'd be a Viking on the ground.
Yeah.
Do you know how sheep say trick or treat?
How? You're kind of funny.
Kind of. All right, look at this. Nice Siege Tank push coming in, utilizing his Vikings just to buffer. This is a nice spread by MMA. He has that medevac in there. He has Marauders. Really well done. Looks like he should be able to clean this up.
He needs to get that Siege Tank in the back there.
Vikings pick up, realizing that this is futile.
And he now lands again, knowing exactly when to land and when to pick up.
Well done there. But yeah, it's time for him to back up a little bit. He is regrouping with some more Marines, but I think that the attack's just about over. And look at that, 17 workers killed.
Wow. So don't forget, guys, just because MMA held that off doesn't mean he's got a lead.
No. I mean, right now, actually, though, MMA 48 SCVs against 51 of MVP. Overall unit counts, I like MVP's army more. You know, he's got a little bit more Marines, then he's got Siege Tanks and some medevacs, whereas his opponent has Marauders. And that's just going to be a little bit better. You don't really want Marauders in bio versus bio. You want Siege Tank Marine, because Marauders just aren't good against Marines, and the Marines just shred them up so they don't really count towards the Siege Tanks. But really impressive with how MMA has kept his SCV count so high. That's really well done. You know, MVP, I guess, missed a few rounds of SCVs there.
Now we have, looks like a little drop coming up here from MVP. MVP very good at just chipping away at MMA at any moment.
See if he can... There's no turrets or anything there, really. There's a depot on the edge of his base. But MMA is out on the map, and MMA is... Did he get more Marauders? No. Okay, so he stayed at just the 6 Marauders, which is good. I was scared that he was actually going to go Marine Marauder for a bit. That would be bad. All right. This drop, we're going to see if it does anything.
Could just get this depot. That's always something, you know.
Yeah. And his stem isn't done yet, so this is not actually a scary drop. If he had stem, this would be like downright frightening.
We're going to have a massive drop here from MMA.
Uh-oh.
This is going to be a game changer one way or the other.
Well, he's got a couple missile turrets, so he's going to have to find the magic path.
Nice pick up there. Zeb Depot going to burn down.
And hold on, we have this Viking flying in, taking the shots. Beautiful move by MMA. Tries to fly away from the turrets. In fact, loses none of his medevacs. So well done.
All right, stimming here, hitting the eBay. Meanwhile, another counterattack over here, hitting the siege tanks, the expansion. Getting both eBays.
Only +1 attack finishes, +1 armor, does not. And that's going to put his opponent
Stim
away.
is not done yet, so MMA is actually doing a scary amount of damage still.
He is, but those Marauders not worth so much against these Marines as mentioned previously. So he will clean it up, but that was a great drop right there. To kill off those eBays, that's going to really do him well for the mid-game because the upgrades, we already have 2-2, pretty well in for MMA, whereas he had MVP lost that +1 armor and just has +1 attack and has to rebuild his eBays, so he's going to be a bit behind there.
Yeah, I mean, basically, MVP is going to have to submit in the mid-game most likely, or kind of in mid-game, but as we continue onward in mid-game. And as you can see, MMA already expanding now. But MVP is going to move out, it looks like, anyways. A gutsy move indeed.
Yep. All right, so I don't know what he's hoping to accomplish with this. Maybe a little run-around type of technique, but MVP's army is so scary in the center right now. Siege tanks and Marines, and a few medevacs as well.
Another little drop over here takes out the depots to kind of layer the outside of MMA's base.
Look at this, going after reactors, so smart. This is going to really stifle the production. That's like killing a barracks right there.
And he goes in, runs out without really suffering any losses. But no, I said that too soon. It was intercepted.
Yep, he did lose that. But you know what? MVP is moving forward still, and his siege tank count's pretty scary. He's got 7 against just 2 of MMA, but this army only has 5 of those 7 in it, so that is something to know.
All right. Now MVP, he can move in over here. We're not at that weird phase where MMA can actually juggle and throw a bunch of stuff at MVP. It's basically just the 2 players playing their position game, which is what MVP is so good at.
Yeah. Well, he is inside the sensor towers. We just got to be careful about this. Look at this. Sieges some tanks up. The tanks of MMA sieging a bit away from where they should.
He checks and sees there are no SCVs there. Yeah. Whoa, MMA definitely should have stepped into that tank line right there.
MMA may be going for a flank because his upgrades are so much better. He actually just had 2-2 finish. It's 1-0 Marines right now.
Here we go.
So he needs to siege up. He has to be so careful because those Marines will shred his
he's going to sandwich him right over here.
Oh, God, look at this. Really well done by MVP,
nice.
Bringing up the rest of that army, despite inferior upgrades, pushing back MMA.
He regroups now. MVP with a minor supply lead. Yep. And where's he going to strike next? Being scanned here by MMA. It's got to be frustrating.
He's trying to make his move up here, sieging up to some tanks.
Oh, this could be deadly.
Oh, man, it looks like he is going to siege up this base very well. Oh, my God, he's running forward into these tanks. And he takes some of them out. Don't forget he's down by 2 upgrades.
Yep. But again, you know, the siege tanks, if they just keep hitting the Marines, MMA's Marines, and MVP has a good siege tank setup, there's really not that much that MMA can do. I'm surprised MMA allowed this to happen, but, you know, what are you going to do?
This is a pretty hard position to be in. We do have him running around with his Marines again. Looks like he's trying to stop any reinforcements for now, and that can always give him the sandwich as well.
Oh, see, he's just going to go ahead and siege up over here and try to control this area.
He might siege towards the main, to be honest. He has so many medevacs. He could siege, clear a place for his Marines to drop in the main base, and just start eliminating stuff.
Good point, Artosis.
But at that point, if his Marines aren't there, if MMA were to come back, he could drop on the tank. So there's a lot of dangerous maneuvers both these players could do to each other. And in fact, there's just going to be an attack by MMA, but there's a lot of tanks at home for MVP.
Our MVP is being attacked now. Sieging up, stemming. Now he doesn't know how many tanks are back there, but it's going to be bad news for MMA. A few more tank volleys and this is all going to disappear. And as you can see there, MMA taking whatever thing he could do to come back here and failing. And he's actually, you're right, Artos. You were dead on to this game. He's going to start dropping tanks into the main here.
Yeah.
And this is how you completely win against a Terran. You just put,
how are you going to break that?
Yeah.
You aren't basis, that's how.
Sorry. Silly me to think so.
Unless you unsiege your tanks. and then maybe you get broken. But still, this was a reasonable attack by MMA. In fact, he has taken out more buildings still has his Marines alive.
Another barracks goes down. You can now get the factories here, or even the tech labs. Staying out of the siege tank lane. MMA unsieging. Meanwhile, there's a force of MVP right here that is moving northward to hit this expansion, which has no real defenses whatsoever. And now look, he's going to go back to the rest of these siege tanks.
Come on, we do have 4 siege tanks. Siege up over here. Really nice siege. And in fact, does kill off the siege tanks. Just
Running
some Marines
by.
left. Very annoying here for MMA. He has cleared up everything in his main. He's only down by like 30 supply.
Hitting these SCVs now. He needs more siege tanks set up over here. Every SCV counts. 142 supply to 176.
That's right. They're
And
actually,
meanwhile, this push over here, right here, is retracting.
right now their SCV counts are very, very similar. 66 for MVP, 61 for MMA. So that's pretty darn close. And as far as MVP goes, he does have his 4th base up and running.
How are the upgrades doing for infantry right now?
All right, we have for MMA 3-2, nothing on the way. 3-3 on the way for MVP, but nowhere near complete. As far as siege tanks, +2 for MVP, and +1 for MMA, who also is not getting any more upgrades there.
By the way, MVP has adjusted so well on this map. I'm not saying that he's won it already, but he's definitely winning right now.
Yeah, he's definitely changed up the way he was playing slightly. MMA actually missed 2 mules right here where we're going to fly by.
And he's now going to drop into the main. He's coming in here now. Dropping, and this is going to be tough, actually. The position for these tanks is very good.
Yeah, well, this one is going to be the one that you can't really break as long as he doesn't unseat.
Yeah.
He's going to kill off a lot of depots, a lot of production. And this is going to draw a lot of MMA's army up into the main base.
MMA, by the way, actually the negative. Sorry, go ahead.
At this point, with all the army going into the main base, MVP can just attack somewhere else and kill it. This is like not going to be all that hard.
I think MVP might have won this just now. Especially if he gets this base over here. It looks like MVP going to back off and look for another area of assault.
And here we go. MMA going to try to break this.
I think there's enough Marines he can actually shoot down the siege tanks.
So he's going to back up, just try to be cost efficient right now. We have another attack going towards MMA's other base. MMA has a lot of siege tanks right now, though. In fact, he's got the siege tank lead. That's why he's defending so well.
They're scanning each other, hitting that orbital so hard. Are they going to get it? It's getting down into the orange.
Yeah.
Now into the red, and it goes down.
Well, in the meantime, we do have him picking up what's left of his forces of the main base and pulling out. And now MMA is actually mining from, well, he's at 4th base location. The natural's almost out. The main command center's gone. Whereas MVP, he's mining by almost 2 bases. But the income is going to be pretty similar for these guys right now. Just a little lead for MVP. But once he redistributes his SCVs and does his new base, which he's building right now, he's going to have a substantial lead there.
All right. As you can see, MVP just regroups. He probably knows that MMA is behind. He probably doesn't know how behind MMA is because he can't quite see what we could see. But he does know that the production, especially for our attacking units, is going to be down there for MVP.
Well, MMA, he is up against the ropes, Staceless. He's got 132 supply, only no bank. He's having a really hard time. His production facilities are mostly gone. He's trying to rebuild barracks. I mean, he's got 2 facts still, which is the best thing working for him. And a good number of siege tanks at 15 against the 11 of his opponent.
Moving out again.
I think you might just siege up to kill depots and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he can just try to hit anything at this point in time.
Yeah, even pick
By the way, guys, get on GOMTV.net and submit some questions to Snowbird. because we're going to have an interview here with the winner. Looks like it's going to be MVP. Feel free to write in 1 or 2 for MMA as well. And that drop comes down here, forcing the orbital to lift off and fly away. Are any of those tanks in range of the orbital? By the way, the orbital will be saved here for MVP.
They are not in range of that, no. Yeah, man, go on and ask questions, because this game may end soon. MMA, if he comes back from this, it is quite a miracle indeed.
Yeah, we are watching MMA hang on by a thread, and a massive drop over in the far left.
That is a
into the main, and you can see all the siege tanks are really just outside the. It's the third base now, but it was the fourth.
Well, the main base is already in bad shape here. Submarines going back, not nearly enough.
He stims. He has the siege tanks up over here. Also, I think those siege tanks next to the SCVs on their side, and that's going to be a GG.
And look at that. MVP has overtaken the curse. He has defeated MMA and will go on to the round of 16.
And he deserves to.
Yeah.
He played really, really well. I think this is probably one of the hardest groups MVP had to play in.
It was a pretty tough one, man.
Especially the hands he was dealt. Man.
Well, you know what, MMA, he played some good StarCraft today. We'll see if he can get back up to that, top of the world Terran caliber that we all know he's capable of.
Yeah. So submit those questions fast, guys. Great way to participate with the show. Artosis, good job today.
You too. You as well, Tasteless.
Thank you.
Hey, that's us.
That's us. We turned into 3 Koreans, man.
We too turned into 3 Koreans this week.
We do, yeah. Wow, what a tough group. Some of the best Terrans we could ever ask for. Easily.
Indeed. And one of the best Polish Protosses of all time, Mana. Yeah. Unfortunately, he didn't do so well today.
Protosses.
At least he did take a game.
I was thinking about this on our little break while you were doing the interview. On my little break while you were working.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, you get these players, and they're so good on any live event. But GSL is kind of different. You go down here, it's darker. It's loud. You don't get to meet tons of fans. You meet maybe a handful. They're like, oh, hey, I'm also a Polish guy down here. And then you have a camera that's stuck right in your face, and you're in the most watched thing of all time. So some of these guys aren't used to it. So that was kind of my theory. Maybe why he didn't play as well.
Maybe. But there's definitely a lot of pressure.
Yeah. But on to the results for today, as we predicted. Taja and MVP move on.
Not surprised, man.
No, not a shocker.
Taja crushing like he crushed. That's a little bit surprising. It shouldn't be, but anytime you watch him just wipe the floor with a player like MVP, you got to be like, wow, that's pretty damn good. So congrats to those two. Unfortunately, MMA and Mana will fall down to Code. I'm excited to see how they'll do there. Mana did get through up and down matches.
Yes.
So maybe he can get through Code.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see. I hope he spends enough time in Korea to be able to do that.
Yeah. And, of course, tomorrow we keep going here at the GSL Code S.
Whoa.
Nano
nice. Heart, Sniper, Squirtle, one of my favorite groups. I'm really excited about this one.
Yeah, this is going to be really cool. I'm especially excited about Naniwa and Squirtle.
Oh,
will Naniwa get to a round of 8? Will he get farther? Or will he get weeded out like some of these other players like MMA here in the GSL Code S?
Can Sniper win a championship? Hart has been doing so well recently. Specifically, WCG's doing really well.
Squirtle, a finalist for the GSL. Yeah. He's thirsty for a championship.
Sniper is one of my favorite Zergs. This guy has been coming up hard.
Well, guys, thank you again so much for joining us here today. We love doing this. If you stayed with us for the entire show, good work, because the games here today have been longer, much longer than usual.
Short compared to last week, though.
Yes, that's true. We'll see how the rest of the games go. I think basically people are figuring out the game at a much deeper end game level.
Oh, so certainly. This is the most figured out we've ever had it by far.
Yeah. So it's the best games we get to cast. It's also the hardest players. Yeah. But, yeah.
That's about it, guys. I'll be right back with an interview with MVP, so don't go away.
I'll see you guys tomorrow. I love you. Join us in 24 hours. Only burn out flames. I live on in yesterday.
everybody, I'm Artosis, this is Snowbird, and of course MVP, congratulations.
Thank you.
Played so well today, finally taking down MMA. I hope there's a question about that. Let's go ahead and check what Snowbird has picked out from the GOMTV.net forums, where you can ask questions to players like him. All right, from Dark Lord Olio, you got 2 tonight. Congratulations. You've often said in interviews that your physical condition affects your practice schedule negatively. What treatment are you receiving? Would you consider taking a break from StarCraft 2 if conditions get worse?
네, 건강 상태 때문에 연습하는 데 있어서 지장이 있다고 인터뷰 때 좀 얘기하셨잖아요.
네.
현재 건강 상태 어떠신지 그리고 무슨 치료 받고 있는지.
일단 건강 상태는 지금 똑같은 상태고 물리 치료를 받고 있는데 이게 계속 물리 치료를 할 때 원래 쉬면서 받아야 되는데 연습을 하다 보니까 쉬지도 못하고 물리 치료도 받아도 그렇게 큰 효과가 없는 것 같아요. 계속 하다 보니까.
그리고 은퇴는 아니더라도 잠깐 프로게이머 생활 쉴 생각은 하셨나요?
쉴 생각도 해본 적이 있긴 한데 솔직히 쉬고 싶진 않고요. 그냥 앞으로 남은 경기도 만약 부상이 있어서 잘 준비를 못하더라도 충분히 이길 수 있다고 생각해요. 그래가지고 아직은 쉴 생각은 없어요.
Well, his situation actually hasn't improved a lot in the last month. It's still pretty bad with his wrists, and he's receiving treatment. But the problem is he has to lie down for that always. So because he always has to practice, also it's very difficult to get the treatment. And then I asked him if he thought about maybe resting for a while or even quitting, and he said he thought about that, but he believes that even when he has problems practicing, he still thinks that he can win. So, and he just wants to play so much that he doesn't want to rest.
Not bad. Wow. All right. Next question is from Artosis Unny 420. Do you consider MMA to be a rival since you two always seem to meet in tournaments and have close games?
문성환 선수를 자주 대회에서 만나시는데 라이벌이라고 생각하세요?
네, 제가 가장 잘 나가던 시절에 제가 유일하게 졌었어요. 성원이 형에게. 그래서 저도 라이벌이라고 생각하고 그 라이벌이라고 생각하는 선수를 오늘 이기게 돼서 굉장히 기분 좋아요.
He considers him a rival because at the time when MVP felt he was at his peak, MMA was one of the few players that he actually lost to. So he thinks he's a rival, and he's very happy that he beat his rival today.
All right. And one more from Elite One. I notice you have a ring on your left ring finger. Are you newly engaged?
반지를 끼셨는데요.
네.
그 반지의 의미가 뭔지 혹시 약혼
아니요. 뭐 약혼이나 결혼한 건 아직 아니고요. 지금은 여자친구랑 커플링이에요. 네, 커플.
He's not engaged or anything, but it's a couple ring that he's wearing with his girlfriend together.
Yeah, I knew that. No woman can take him quite yet. Too good. All right, well, that's all the time we have. Make sure you follow him on Twitter. It's LGIMMVP. Go ahead and do that because he is the greatest Terran the world has ever seen. And, of course, Gom Snowbird and myself, Artosis. Guys, we will see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching.